Hello and welcome to Nationwide. I am Lydia Odijochi. We thank you for joining us. This broadcast is being streamed live on our website nta.ng/live and other social media handles displayed on your screen. Let's begin with the Federal Executive Council meeting. Over 43.5 billion naira has been approved by the Federal Executive Council for the reconstruction of critical roads infrastructure in 5 states of the Northeast sub-region. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, announced this while briefing journalists after the Council's meeting. We shall bring you details in the course of the bulletin. In a bid to revive Nigeria's Cultural Center and Millennium Tower, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, led the Bollywood team of investors on inspection tour of the national asset that is presently lying fallow. Onoze Yakubu tells us more.
Inadequate funding has been the hindering factor to the timely completion of the Nigerian Cultural Center and the Millennium Tower project. The request by the FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello and his information counterpart, Lai Mohammed, to woo private investors on the project is already yielding results, as the Bollywood team of investors has indicated interest. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed, who led the visiting delegation on the tour of the project, described the monumental edifice as an asset to Nigerians.
After the last visit, we had inquiries from some serious investors, and this time around I'm here with the members of the Nigeria-India Business Council, who have been in Nigeria for the last 3-4 days, been here to look at where they can invest in area of power, infrastructure, medicine, and the like. And of course, we also came with, with the investor from the creative sector, especially from the film industry.
And this is supposed to be like a tourism hub for the city, and not only the city but for the nation. In an edifice where you are going to have a 5-star hotel, an auditorium with a capacity of 1,200. We have a parking lot there where we are standing over.
We feel there is so much potential and talent here. It is definitely worth investing in. I see a big future for the Nigerian film industry. So much content. Musicians already are world famous now. There's so many all these artists who are going to America and recording these songs. Why can't they record it here?
The Nigerian Cultural Center and the Millennium Tower was conceived in 2006. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Traditional rulers in all the 6 states of the Southwest are promising to use their influence to support federal government's health programs, especially as they relate to promotion of vaccines and vaccination. This was at the maiden quarterly meeting of the Southwest Traditional Rulers Committee on Primary Healthcare Delivery in Abuja. Oluseyi Adiago has more.
Regardless of status, every human being should have unfettered access to quality healthcare services. With 80 to 90% of basic health needs of the populace expected to be met at the primary healthcare level, the federal government is now striving relentlessly to ensure PHC centers are in good shape, and government is extensively engaging these key players in Nigeria's health sector to achieve this feat.
From Southwest, we've been able to put ourselves together, and we traditional rulers, we don't want to leave everything to government to be doing. Things we can do for our people, how we can actually help them as far as primary health is concerned.
Because the influence of the traditional rulers on the state government, on local government, and on development partners is very strong. And if they have to focus attention on these things I just mentioned, human resources, infrastructure, supply chain, then we can get to the objective that we're talking about.
Again, we are learning from lessons, and from time-honored antecedents that when you go through the gatekeepers of the communities, then community members are likely to listen to you and accept your messages.
With traditional rulers playing active role in Nigeria's success story of wide polio virus-free status, expectation from this engagement is to strengthen forces on regional and national targets in routine immunization, COVID-19 vaccination, including maternal and child health. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Still on health, parents and caregivers have been urged to take advantage of the newly introduced routine vaccination to immunize their children against rotavirus. Discussing the vaccination program on Good Morning Nigeria, public health providers say the federal government recently introduced the vaccine to avert the high mortality rate in under 5 children in Nigeria. They urged traditional rulers to play a critical role of creating the awareness and championing the campaign to safeguard against child mortality in the next 10 years. Ekemini Williams has more details.
Not much is in the public space in Nigeria about rotavirus, but the country reportedly has the second highest number of deaths from rotavirus, one of the leading diarrheal diseases in the world. Dr. Faisal Shuaib of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency provided some background to how rotavirus, which causes approximately 50,000 deaths in children under 5 in Nigeria, occurs in communities.
The most common way to contract it is through food and water. Right, and also when you touch a surface, after about 2 days, they start having fever, they start vomiting, and then thereafter they start experiencing diarrhea. Once they start experiencing those types of symptoms, the usual thing, like you mentioned, is people wondering is just teething. But in a number of cases, it could be due to other diseases, right? It could be that a child has malaria or pneumonia, and diarrhea might be one of the manifestations. But for rotavirus infection, you begin to see that the child starts getting dehydrated.
Public health experts say the only protection against the virus is through vaccination, adding that the federal government has provided 3.8 million vaccines and will commence dispensing the vaccines free of charge on Monday in the Northwest, North Central and Northeast geographical zones.
Last week, jointly with Dr. Faisal, with the Minister of Health, WHO and partners, we launched the Primary Healthcare Leadership Challenge to incentivize the governors and the states to really invest in primary healthcare. Because if you don't invest in human resources, in capacities, even if you have the vaccines in country, you're not going to be able to deliver those to the children that they need it.
Representative of the FCT Primary Healthcare Board, Dr. Isa Yaya, says there is also ongoing sensitization and urged parents, caregivers as well as traditional rulers to support the exercise.
This is another gift from the government to the children. Okay. For the future of tomorrow, to be protected from diarrhea disease that is deadly. And the only solution to it is to be protected by being vaccinated.
We are really confident that with our discussion, the Emir of Kanu, and that the traditional leaders, and I'm aware of the role they play for polio, for COVID-19 vaccination, I'm sure they will help a lot in this new campaign.
The federal government introduced the rotavirus vaccine to routine immunization schedule, and subnationals are expected to key into the program to reduce the burden. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Now to politics. Plans by stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress are on the increase to reactivate machineries and galvanize support to sustain the party's electoral victory. This desire is already increasing synergy among party supporters who converged on Abuja. Salil Gwanara reports.
It is about a decade now when this group of Nigerians joined the ideals of the progressive politics and policies. Now that the nation is preparing for another general elections, Members of the APC say the 2023 elections will serve as a transition period.
Meaning it is a wide open election. What do we do with such an election? We double down. We'll be able to tell our stories in a way that other people have not been able to tell that story as succinctly as they should.
Now, excuses for failure is when you manufacture facts that are non-existent to justify your non-performance. That is excuses. But when you state facts, they are different from excuses. And in this circumstance, we found ourselves, President Muhammadu Buhari and the APC government has overperformed.
Meanwhile, political activities by women wing of the APC National Working Committee is on the increase ahead of the official flag off of the presidential campaign.
And to galvanize our resources, energy, time, finance, skills and knowledge toward the team and canvas for massive votes.
The time has come for us to put on our serious shoes, that this time whosoever works will be recognized and will be rewarded.
It is a strategic engagement to harmonize ideas towards a common goal. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
With few months to the 2023 general elections, the Arewa New Agenda says the unity of Nigeria and the continued participation of the North and its people in the process of governance and socio-political development of the nation are non-negotiable.
The Arewa Agenda 2023 seeks to promote the continuing prominence, relevance, involvement, and participation of the North that will enable the rapid growth and development of the region in the governance and service delivery sector of Nigeria post-2023 general elections.
The group urges all political leaders in the country to stay focused on nation building and uphold the ultimate objective of promoting Nigeria's national interest at all times. Speaker of the Nigeria Youth Parliament says even though the National Youth Policy was developed to allay the fears of young people to meet their yearnings and aspirations as well as unite them, since the implementation process is yet to include a lot of them. Speaker of the Nigeria Youth Parliament Azizat Ishau stated this at a policy technical review session of existing youth policies in Nigeria, which held in Abuja. She noted that during the town hall meetings held with young people across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, issues like involvement of few young people in developmental matters and inadequate open-door communications are other issues, and other issues are lack of increased awareness on security through the use of data-driven technology, poor funding for education as well as high unemployment rate are some challenges young people are faced with in the country. The forum is also aimed at formulating youth policies and fashioning out better ways of addressing the challenges that deprive them from attaining their full potential.
If they say they've employed 10,000 youths, how do we measure that 10,000 youths? How do we measure it in a short term, mid term, and long term? That okay, these young people that we've employed, what is their economic standing in another 1 or 2 years? So these are the things I think that government need to be interested. They need to be interested in data. They need to be interested in feedback as well.
Intergenerational gaps have increased and generation has changed. But young people believe that they can, if they get involved, that they can further equip government.
Every nation that wants to prosper must bank on the collective strength, energy, potentials of their younger generation.
The urgent area is about youth empowerment and education sector, because for you to develop the life of a young person, you have to give him education so that he cannot end up becoming an odd member of the society.
378 girls from across Ondo State will be trained for the next 2 weeks on solar technology, ICT programs and entrepreneurship. The program Be More is an initiative of the wife of Ondo State Governor Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu. Abiola Ario reports that for the very first time, girls with hearing impairment are joining the camp to be among.
Be More Summer Boot Camp is born to bridge gender parity gap
by educating and empowering the young girls whose testimony is evident in the lives of likes of 20-year-old Christiana Madu, our 2018 Be More set, who successfully installed solar inverter at the office of Ondo State Agency Against Gender-Based Violence.
Now I am a certified solar engineer by the Korean. And further went to a 6-month training on solar installation, and now I am a certified solar technician.
The program, which started in 2017, aims to empower young Nigerian girls in critical areas of science and technology and to create opportunities to contribute to the socio-economic development of their respective communities.
They are equipped to become entrepreneurs and make money.
Some of the incoming trainees are optimistic of a transformed life.
I want people to know me for what I have to achieve many things so that my parents will be proud of me.
This initially has impacted our girls in those moments. Let us think of building a future, a prosperous future for our children.
It is expected that at the end of the 2 weeks training, over 350 girls will be versed in science and technology in conformity with the federal government's policy of increasing women and girls' participation in science and technology. In Akure, Abiola Rio, NTA News. The federal government says it remains resolute to the successful implementation of the At-Risk Children program, aimed at providing solutions to the plight of the vulnerables who lack social protection and basic formal education. Special advisor to the President on Social Investment, Miriam Owais, reiterated this commitment during a 2-day stakeholders workshop for the implementation of the At-Risk Children program in Niger State. Fatima Liu reports.
Meta's UNICEF report of May 2022 indicates that about 18.5 million children in Nigeria are out of school, with 60% of them being girls. This worrying statistic ranks Nigeria as the country with highest number of out-of-school children. The development of a multilateral partnership by the federal government of Nigeria tagged At-Risk Children program seeks to address this growing concern through 7 pillars centered on basic literacy and numeracy, health and nutrition, vocational as well as agriculture, digital, sports and life skills. Already, many states have keyed into this initiative, with Niger State toeing the same path.
We have the state to set up community hubs where the children can converge. Wherever the children have a huge number of children, we can do some training there.
We have already implemented, the best, program, which also seeks to look into getting these children off the street.
These are going to leverage on central coordinating resources, strategies and monitoring to drive a targeted, efficient, and cost-effective solution to the distressing phenomenon is a very welcome one.
Therefore, in this workshop, strategies are expected to be mapped out on how best to address the issue through development of framework for analysis and in the long run, ensuring productivity among vulnerables in MENA. Fatima Ali, NTA News.
We're watching nationwide. Let's go back to Lagos now, where Adeola is standing by with more stories. Hello, Adeola.
Thank you, Lydia, and welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian Navy ship NNS Kada has returned to harbour after a successful completion of its first national assignment to Guinea-Bissau. Kehinde Adebisi reports that the ship was received in Lagos by the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo.
17 days after sailing from Nigeria to supply military hardware to Nigerian contingent in the ECOWAS Stabilization Support Mission in Guinea-Bissau, NNS Kada returns. According to the Chief of the Naval Staff, who was represented, the voyage is significant as it echoes the mandate of the Nigerian Navy, which includes strategic sea lift. He added that the Nigerian Navy would continue to leverage its sea lift capability as it seeks further collaboration with other agencies.
The Nigerian Navy, on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria, used our sea capability to emplace our contingent, making us the only nation within the sub-region to do this. This is a very mean feat, and I think we deserve a round of applause.
While commending the effort of the ship's company, led by Captain Reginald Adoki, the chief of the naval staff emphasized that with successful completion of NNS Kada's first mission, the ship should be prepared for other missions as exigency arrives. In Lagos, Adini Itawu, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army is expanding its frontiers in the area of intellectual combat service support as part of means to address contemporary security challenges in the country. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, emphasized this in Lagos during the 2022 training week. Olumide Gotola reports.
Just like in some countries of the world, insecurity in Nigeria is taking its toll at development. The Nigerian Army is addressing with all sense of responsibility. Fortifying its combat service support gave birth to the 2022 training week to combat contemporary security challenges in a joint environment.
Ultimately, this will put the Nigerian Army in better stead to protect the territorial integrity of the nation and support internal security as entrenched in the 99 Constitution.
We review our operations holistically and see gaps and see areas that require improvement, and we improve. And what we get here, we harness and take to the field to block leakages and improve competencies and capabilities that are deployed in the field. Training has a special place in the military because training is the backbone of all the activities we do.
Touching lives of the host community, among other civilians via its medical outreach, the Nigerian Army believes is key to achieving corporate goal. According to the Nigerian Army, adequate infrastructural development is also an added advantage to actualize the vision and mission statement of the Nigerian Army. In Lagos, Olumide Gotola, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos. Let's remind you that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screens. The news continues with Lydia in Abuja. To stay.
Thanks for staying with us. Operatives of the Nigerian Copyright Commission (NCC) have arrested 3 persons in Abuja for selling books suspected to be pirated. In a statement, the NCC Director of Operations, Obiezelu, disclosed that the arrests were made during an anti-piracy operation carried out by copyright inspectors backed by officers of the Nigeria Police Force. He revealed that 221 copies, including various titles with an estimated market value of about 450,000 naira, were confiscated, indicating that investigation is ongoing towards the prosecution of the arrested suspects. The NCC enjoins members of the public to support the national anti-piracy campaign by reporting suspected pirates in their neighborhoods, assuring of the Commission's commitment to sanitizing the book industry across the country. The Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, is the umbrella body of all private, public, commercial, and community electronic media organizations in the country and has over 300 broadcast platforms as members. The body has announced the country's first industry-wide reward and recognition event, the Nigeria Broadcasting Awards. And joining us in the studio to speak more on the award is Yemisi Bangboshe, Executive Secretary of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, good to see you once again.
Yeah.
Now, why this award and what is the target?
Yeah, the award specifically is to motivate the real broadcast practitioners.
Okay.
The people that are working in the broadcast industry, they are professionals and with passion for the industry. The passion is so there to the extent that the job, they don't even know Saturday, they don't even know Sunday.
Of course.
No no Salah Day, no Christmas Day,
no weekend.
No weekend. So, and we observe that nobody has been able to motivate them in terms of recognition of that fantastic job they are putting into the unity, into development of the country, in daily information that have been disseminated to the nook and crannies of the country. So the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria felt it is high time to reward excellence.
All right.
It is high time to recognize people that are actually putting their best into the job that they are doing. So the essence is for recognition, and this is just a brainchild of the chairman of Bond, Mr. John Ugbe, who made it during his campaign that he will surely make sure that we start it. So the objective primarily is just to recognize excellence, to motivate workers, and so that they look even for the following year, so that they can put in their best, and with that motivation, the extrinsic and extrinsic motivation will continue in the industry.
What kinds of motivation are you talking about aside the recognition?
You see, the things is not totally about money. Mm-hmm. There are some things that when you do internally, you feel satisfied. Mm-hmm. And when giving award that is everlasting to people that will know that, yes, so they recognize what you are doing. You continue to be happy with the job that you are doing. So that's why we created what we call the Nigerian Broadcasting Award, TNBA.
Right. Now, how credible is this award, and what was the criteria you used to select those who are deserving?
Oh, very, very credible, because number one, this is an era where we are going to give the viewers to have, their own say in selecting the awardees. Okay. Viewers are going to have their says, and a panel of which have not been mandated to name the judges, but we've been working on the selection of the judges maybe in the last 3 months, looking at things critically. The people that when you hear their names, you know that they are competent to determine. So it's going to be some, percentage to the viewers, percentage to the judges, where they are going to now come at a conclusion that's going to be very satisfactory to everybody. Okay. So it's going to be very, very credible. It's not just an award that somebody is going to sit down in his bedroom and say, we are giving you the best. So no, it's not. It's an award that is going to be well researched into. It's going to be participated in such a way that everybody will have the opportunity to compete, and the selection will be the one that has no bias, that based on merit. In fact, some organizations like NBC, like APCON or APCON now, like the advertising industry, they have their own representation in the judges that are going to select. So to let you know that it's not just an award that when somebody is going to say, we are picking this station or picking this person.
All right. Now, how do you think this award will impact the sector?
It's going to impact the sector, because when you are talking about any sector, you are talking about the people that are working there. You can't replace human being with technology. No way. Yeah, technology is good, is for the use of us to make it better, but human beings that are working there are the most critical.
Without the human beings, the tools are useless.
Yeah, they are useless. So when you motivate human beings, then they make use of the technology better. Then the media men needed to be motivated, and this will contribute largely into better improvement on their job performance, which is going to lead to even acceptability more by the public on what we are dishing out. Because when you are good on the job, when you are able to put your best, then the viewers will be able to enjoy what you are teaching out to them.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your educating us and informing us on what you are doing for us. We appreciate you. Thank you. We've been talking to Yemisi Bambuse, Executive Secretary of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, Bond, and also former National President, Radio, Television and Theatre Workers Association or Union. Ratao, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you.
God bless you.
Now let's go over to Sokoto if she is ready, but if she's not, let's go on with our next report. 13 foreign defense advisors and attaches posted to Nigeria by their various countries have been accredited by the Nigerian Defense Intelligence Agency. What is the implication of this event? Defense correspondent Ismail Musa will tell us.
This brief symbolic ceremony at the Defense Intelligence Headquarters Abuja is the final phase of accreditation and documentation for foreign defense attaches and advisors posted to Nigeria.
Let me also use this opportunity to assure you all of Nigeria's bullish commitment to improving the security and safety situation in the country. As you heard during the security brief, the federal government, through the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies, is leaving no stone unturned to improve security in the country despite numerous challenges. I make bold to state that our efforts are beginning to pay off.
It also serves as official endorsement for the deployed advisors to carry out their duties.
We are presently also training almost 150 officers and men of the Nigerian Armed Forces in India every year, and we presently have a training team from India which is presently in Jaji in the infantry school, and in fact the first commandant of the NDA here was an Indian Army officer.
Great privilege and honor to be here today to receive my accreditation, and I look forward to working with our partners here in Nigeria to advance both of our mutual interests.
With senior military officers on diplomatic mission to gather information and ensure enhanced military ties between Nigeria and their various countries. From the Defense Intelligence Agency Headquarters Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy ship NNS Delta has handed over a seized vessel to the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency in Nimasa. The Navy said the vessel was seized for alleged violation of maritime regulations. Ebinimi Zitimiola reports.
The vessel MV Nautical with IMO number 7728467, according to the Navy, was intercepted and arrested on the 12th May 2022 at Escravos offshore by NNS Bumadi, initially for the inactivity of our automatic identification system, AIS. Further investigations revealed that the vessel did not also possess the requisite document to sail on the Nigerian waters.
In line with extant regulation, I'm directed by the Chief of the Naval Staff on behalf of the Commander NNS Delta, Commodore A. Baba Ina, to hand over MT Nautical Trainer to Nimasa for further investigation.
Receiving the vessel, the Nimasa representative commended NNS Delta for partnering with the agency towards enhancing safety and security in the maritime domain.
You will do all the necessary documentation to make sure that things have been done correctly and the vessel is seaworthy.
The handover of MV Nautical is a further demonstration of the Nigerian Navy's effort to strengthen inter-agency collaboration in its operations. Ebinimi Zitimiola, NTA News.
Effective community policing strategies to combat criminal activities and other security threats hampering peace and productivity in Nigeria was on the front burner of discourse at the National Security Workshop held in Calabar. Udwak Etem reports that the workshop is at the instance of the State Police Command and concerned stakeholders to further increase community awareness in crime prevention and control.
Nigeria in recent times has been witnessing increased criminalities among other threats to national security, and so the hosting of the National Security Workshop on effective community policing in Calabar is to further increase awareness of stakeholders on the need to collaborate with security operatives to secure the society better. There were lectures on information strategies for intelligence-led policing, kidnapping, causes and prevention, as well as community policing.
This workshop is so timely
considering what is going on in the states, considering what is going on in the entire country. I think it's at the right time.
Security is not the single affair of the Nigerian police, and for us to properly participate and handle this affair, we need to be properly informed.
Surveillance is not only for police, it's not only for the paid security agents, it's for everybody. At least by telling the truth, by making your own surveillance known, you will discover that you have exonerated an innocent person that could have been arrested for the offense.
Participants and the public are expected to assist security agents in crime prevention and control through coordinated intelligence gathering. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
Time to take another break. We'll be back for more stories. Don't go away. Thank you for staying. We now have Adamu Sambo's report on the Federal Executive Council meeting, where I earlier told you over 43.5 billion naira was approved by the Federal Executive Council for the reconstruction of critical road infrastructure in 5 states of the Northeast sub-region.
The hybrid council meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, was also attended physically by Vice President Emir Oshibanjo for the first time since he was discharged from a Lagos hospital after a successful surgery. 8 memoranda from ministries, departments and agencies were considered and approved in furtherance of efforts at enhancing the socio-economic development of the country. 4 of them were presented by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development on behalf of the Northeast Development Commission.
These memos are in respect of road reconstruction for 5 states of the Northeast region.
They are the 22.5 kilometer Ngom Koshodi, Ngom Dosmari, Zabarmari, Gongolongo Kadari Road in Borno State at 13.5 billion naira, 53 kilometer Gombe Kirifi Road linking Gombe and Bauchi states at 11.6 billion naira, 54 kilometer Mutai Ngalda Road in Yobe State at 12.1 billion naira, and 32 kilometer Dabnagarkila Road in Adamawa State at 6.2 billion naira.
And all these roads are being taken into consideration and selected in conjunction with the state governments and other critical stakeholders to stimulate economic activities, enhance security, and facilitate the freer movement of goods and people in these affected states within the zone.
Still on roads infrastructure, the council approved 11.1 billion naira for the Ministry of Works and Housing towards the reconstruction of Mushin NNPC, Apapa Oshodi Road in Lagos State. The council also responded to demands by state governments for the refund on interventions made on federal roads by approving 6.7 billion naira for Kebbi State and 2.4 billion naira for Taraba State.
The council also approved that the road under construction by Taraba State, for which this reimbursement is being made, that contract by the state government should now be terminated. That is a section between Bali and Seti in Taraba State. This is because council had approved the full reconstruction of Bali Seti to Gembu under the NNPC tax credit scheme.
The refunds, the minister explained, relate to debt and obligations incurred by the previous administrations inherited by the Buhari presidency as part of the national debt.
I think it's important to note that when we're having conversations about the national debt, these are some of the components. They were inherited debts that this government is also paying for infrastructure. The last point to note is that this is a bipartisan approval, irrespective of party affiliations. All of the states who submit, who meet the conditions, who show documentation benefit.
It would be recalled that the first tranche of 700 billion naira was paid to 24 states. 5 states that benefited from the second tranche got over 120 billion naira, and the last tranche of 27 billion naira went to the 3 states of Taraba, Kebbi, and in particular Yobe State, which earlier got 18 billion naira. From the State House at the Musambu, NTA News.
Industry players in the renewable energy sector want the federal government to pay more attention to the alternative energy sources by re-energizing the National Energy Council to promptly address myriads of issues in the sector which will make it achieve its huge potentials in the nation's development index. Kenneth Nanim reports on this and other concerns raised at the commencement of a 3-day workshop on review and harmonization of renewable energy and energy efficiency policies of Nigeria.
Electricity generation has been the major source of power supply for Nigeria, like many other developing countries. Developing and maintaining this source takes a huge toll on the economy. This has necessitated the initiation of new conversations for the development of alternative sources of energy. These projections is the Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Association Alliance, which is powering these conversations in its 3-day workshop focused on reviewing and harmonizing all previous policy documents by government and relevant groups with a view to producing an implementable renewable energy master plan.
The Energy Commission can lead in coming out with integrated electricity resource plan, so that we can define 10 or 20 years plan on how we are going to achieve our electricity and better achievement of things for the development of electricity and energy in Nigeria.
Investors will come and invest in this sector, and that's where we are now. We should have one harmonized document that will contain all these policies and put them in one spot.
With renewed hope and energized engagements, the recommendations here are expected to address the teething problems in the adoption, exploration and utilization of renewable energy sources as catalysts to development through more availability of power. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has predicted heavy rainfall and possible flash floods in some parts of the country. Akwa Ibom State is not exempted to control this. Some concerned Nigerians are suggesting possible interventions to avert possible calamities arising from flood. Emedion Umo reports.
Akwa Ibom State is one of the coastal regions in Nigeria with a low-lying terrain, and the Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) says it is prone to flood during heavy rainfall. To forestall calamities arising from floods, the Akwa Ibom State government has constructed drainages and roads in flood-prone areas to mitigate unforeseen disasters. Aside from the government's intervention, many Nigerians say a lot still needs to be done by the government and citizenry to curb the menace.
Everybody should be prepared. Those who are living in flood-prone areas should make sure that they relocate to a hilly area. We should move away from where they have a kind of water runways so that they may not be a victim. Those, especially those living around the riverine area, should endeavor to move upward where it is a little bit safe.
However, citizens are advised to desist from indiscriminate dumping of refuse in the waterways, as well as maintain the habit of cleaning their surroundings regularly to avert flood disaster. Other respondents suggest possible ways to minimize flood in their area.
I think it's incumbent on you to safeguard it by, taking care of the drains during sanitation days, and then don't dump refuge in the drainage.
By the time you clear your gutters and you find free flow of water, then all the drains will go right to where it's supposed to be drained to.
It is expected that if government and the citizens adhere to NIMET's predictions and take precautionary measures, flooding will be reduced to the barest minimum. In Uyo, Emedion Umo, NTA News.
Still on the weather, the rainy season is such an important period that citizens look forward to with so much enthusiasm. Rain, an all-important gift of nature, provides not only the water needed for the crops, but also for human and animal survival. Caleb Gochin gives us a situation report on how the people of Jos are coping with the weather that normally accompanies with such a season.
locals and visitors alike, the year 2022 is one that can be described as a good year, given the amount of rainfall being witnessed almost on daily basis. The rains have been heavy and consistent throughout the month of July, with August witnessing longer periods of intermittent downpour. The cold that has over time characterized the city has been at its peak as people adorn themselves with warm clothing to ward off its effects on their health.
Everything of the weather starts from the sun, and there's usually a cycle in weather. 1982 was cold, 1992 was cold and rainy, 2002 was, right, even 2012 there were floodings. It's not new. This is 10 years later, 2022.
On effects of the rain on crops, the farmers are expressing mixed feelings as confirmed by their chairman, John Wiep.
When it started, it was all over. But within the middle, the part of the southern plateau like Lantan South, Wase and others faced severe drought, which caused a lot of losses to farmers. They had to replant again. But in the northern and central plateau is so far so good.
As it is with every good thing, the rainy season also comes with its negative impact on the environment. One of these is flooding, which some communities within the city center suffer from. A number of households coming down under its devastating effect, a situation the residents describe as an annual occurrence.
We are really suffering during the rainy season.
For those of us who are born and bred in Plateau State, we know that we're used to see this kind of weather. It will not affect us.
It's very cold.
You will expect to see that there are increases in upper respiratory tract infections and allergies. And these allergies would usually come from because now the plants are growing, so the pollen from the plants, they fly all over.
Some precautionary measures also come handy.
When people eat well, the food contains the vitamins they need to protect them.
Caleb Gochin.
Let's now join Kenema Budike for sports.
The local organizing committee of the Under-19 ICC Men's Africa Division 2 qualifiers for Cricket World Cup scheduled for Abuja confirms readiness for the competition after the rose from the Federation's annual general meeting held in Abuja Wednesday. The turf of the Cricket Oval in Abuja is 99% ready to host the event scheduled for September 28th to October 9.
We are ready to show the world how prepared we are. We are ready to show the world that we can also we have matured to start holding international matches in Nigeria, and not just only one pitch. We have two pitches, which gives advantage for two games to be going on simultaneously.
8 countries, including Nigeria, will battle for qualification for the ICC Under-19 Men's World Cup for Africa Division 2. Action continues in the ongoing 3rd North Central Handball League in Makurdi, Benue State, with 6 matches decided in both male and female categories on Wednesday. Dream Girls lost 12 to 27 goals to Benue Queens. Safety Babes lost to Peacocks 28 to 29. Vipers beat Suleja Shooters 33 to 22, while Safety Shooters defeated Buffaloes by 33 goals to 28.
What is our intention? To see that the teams that represent this zone in the leagues, whether Pro League or the Division 1 League, come out as one of the best teams in the country.
In the meantime, Nigeria's D Tigers have been ranked 5th in the power ranking ahead of window 4 of the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 African qualifiers in Cote d'Ivoire. D Tigers are ranked behind South Sudan, Tunisia, Cote d'Ivoire and Egypt. 12 teams are competing for 5 places allocated to Africa, and the power ranking reveals the strength of each team and their possibilities of securing the ticket. Nigeria take on host Cote d'Ivoire in Group E on Friday. That's sports update. I am Kene Ima Abudike, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide. But before we go, remember to join NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists. I am Lydia Odijochi. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.